What's up, Rick?
What's up, brother?
How are you, sir?
Doing excellent. Let me turn you down just a little bit.
Yeah, let me give one or 2 minutes here.
Yep, no worries.
What are you doing? What are you up to?
Sunday, I am doing the stuff around the house. Getting the laundry ready for next week, meal prep, being lazy.
Are you staying at home? Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
So
So, I mean, I pretty much work from home anyway, but I have a remote office in Sandy Springs that I work from on Thursday and Friday.
cool. So is Atlanta was really locked down, or you felt like people were still going out?
No, definitely
Uh,
people still going out.
yeah.
Definitely.
And how is the rate there? Is a big cases on it? Like
Yeah, I think Georgia's like pretty far up there. But it's really weird because so like when we first went into lockdown and everybody really locked down, you could go to stores normally. You could go to Walmart, but everybody was kind of just acting a little hesitant, right? But now that they've opened it back up, like we went to Walmart yesterday and you have to wait in line to go in.
huh.
It's all the way out the building. And it's like they're letting one or two or five at a time, and same with Home Depot. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it is weird though.
So we were like, all right, let's just go to Kroger and avoid. I'm not trying to do all that.
Yeah, it is weird. I have a friend from Brazil here. E aí, Landrinho, tranquilo? Abraço. We're
I only
gonna
know
get started.
jujitsu. If it's not jujitsu, I don't know Portuguese.
Yeah. Rick, let's get started. The video
Sure.
stays safe anyway, and people can go always and watch.
Yeah, I'm recording it anyway.
Yes, cool. So let's talk about this. So first, give me a little bit introduction. What you do, where you at, what you do for a living, of course, what you do as far as your job, and we go from there.
Cool. My name is Rick James Junkunz. I have a very long German last name that no one can ever say, so everybody just calls me Rick James. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and basically I am a marketing consultant mainly for fitness and martial arts, but I also do other industries. I have a wrap company, I have pest control, I have real estate, all kinds of other industries. I really like marketing. It's kind of like one of those things where I found a way where I can help lots of people and not be restricted by industry or anything like that. And so that's kind of what I fell in love with and made it my business. And so now I own my own marketing agency. It's really blowing up in 2020. It's been really exciting. We're basically developing a software to make marketing for gyms very easy and cost efficient, because I know that the overhead in a gym is not that high. So that's something we've been working on, is how can we keep our costs low but make our marketing effective. And then outside of that, I'm an avid Falcons fan, which you guys can see. That's probably my number one passion. And then I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu at Alliance headquarters, which, jiu-jitsu changed my life like most people that embark on that path.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu, Rick?
I've been training jiu-jitsu since 2011. I just had my 9-year anniversary. I started at a place called Tiger Academy with Eddie Camden in Atlanta. He's a Gracie University type affiliate place. I had a really bad start in jiu-jitsu. I actually started a little bit before that, but I had a bad...
Rick,
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about Ed Kennedy, because I always hear about Ed Kennedy. Ed Kennedy is one of the oldest jiu-jitsu guy in Atlanta too.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like kind of old school.
Oh yeah, and he's really close and tight to the Gracies. He was one of the first people, I think, to take on that Gracie University model, and he's just really tied in well with them. And he's been here for a long time. I know he trained at Alliance for a while before he broke off and made his own gym, but he's a really great guy. The thing I always try to find, like, I've had probably 5 different instructors. I've been very lucky to go like train with the best of the best. And I always try to find like 1 or 2 things that I can take from that instructor and say, this is what, And he really, he made me fall in love with jiu-jitsu because he taught me the right way.
Uh-huh.
Secondly, he made me fall in love with teaching because I saw his enthusiasm and I was like, man, that guy is like changing lives right there. Like I can tell that he's making an impact on his people. And then he made me fall in love with the Gracies because he loved them so much. He talked about the Gracie diet and the lifestyle and all the things that I didn't even know existed in jiu-jitsu. So then I went down the Gracie path, started following Helson and Hoyler and all of them, and then I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
So he really changed my life. I got my blue belt from him, and then I moved to Orlando and went to train with Bruno Malfacini at blue
Oh,
belt.
cool.
And that's
Wait,
how I met Alliance.
Okay, so you moved to. So what's the reason you moved to Orlando? You moved
So
for
I got
study?
I got a job offer to open a call center. So I was in automotive marketing for a long time, and I'm really good at sales and training. And so my buddy opened up a call center in Orlando and said, "Hey, I need somebody to come run it. You're my guy. Will you move down to Florida and, start this company with me?" And I was like, I'm 28 years old. I'm like, move to Florida. I've never even left Georgia. Let's do it,
Sure.
And so we started this business, and one of my number one concerns, every time I move, if you're in jiu-jitsu, you know this. Every time you move, the first thing you look at is, where's the best gym near me, right?
Yeah.
How can I make jiu-jitsu work? Because I'll tell you, I'm not moving unless jiu-jitsu is there, period. So I looked around, and I saw this gym. It was called Alliance Orlando, and it was the closest one to my work. I knew nothing about Alliance before that. And saw this guy who's like Bruno Malfas, and I was like, I have no idea who this guy is, but he's won all these championships. I don't know what the championships are because all I know is about self-defense. I didn't even know jiu-jitsu was a sport.
100%.
And then so I went there and trained there. It was in a warehouse, no air conditioning, with some of the highest top-level people I've ever rolled with, right? And I always tell people this. What's funny is when you learn Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you don't really learn open guard that much. It's get your guard back, close guard, and then finish from the closed guard.
It's really based on pure self-defense.
Totally.
Yeah.
So when I went to Bruno's gym, like, first class was like, all right, De La Hiva sweep, something like that. And I'm like, De La Hiva? I don't even know what that is. And then there was reverse De La Hiva, and then there was, he kept adding them on, Z guard and this guard. And I'm like, what? I was always told to keep my guard closed. So I remember for like the first 2 years, like, because they were so good and so fast and dynamic, I was like, how can I get close guard? I just need to get close guard, like, hold on. And so I spent, 2 or 3 years, which I think were really critical to my jiu-jitsu growth, of just getting dominated. Absolutely just destroyed mentally, physically. And really it came at a good time because that was a time in my life where I was like real depressed. I wasn't sure about myself. I lost all my confidence. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. My job was, I just felt like I've always been a person who has had, like, I've been extremely intelligent. I've learned quickly. I get along with people. Like, everything gives, all of my tools that I've been given in life show success. But when I reached 28 or 30, I was like, where is it? Like, how come? So I was getting very like, yeah. And I was like, man, like, I have too many tools to be messing up like this. Like, what am I doing? I just didn't have a path, And so jiu-jitsu kind of beats it out of you, beats all the excuses out of you, shows you something harder than anything you're dealing with in your life. Because me personally, I think jiu-jitsu is harder than anything. I mean, I'd rather go to work and get yelled at or break up with my girlfriend than have Leo Nogueira choking me from the mount. Like, that is the worst thing ever. So you start to do some reflecting, and you start to, realize how much easier life is than you think it is. And, you start to realize what's important to you. And you start to becoming a lot more determined, a lot better work ethic. You can bounce back better. I think that's really critical to jiu-jitsu. When you get beat, I tell people every day, the best part about jiu-jitsu is you have to go up to someone, they beat the crap out of you to where you want to quit on life. You want to give up, you want to cry. You have to shake their hand, thank them for their butt whooping. You have to go home, think about it, come back the next day and do it again.
Yeah,
without an attitude, without being mad at them, and you have to thank them for that. And that's something the average person doesn't experience in normal life.
It is true. And I think when jiu-jitsu is well taught, that's when those lessons are very applicable for life, you know what I mean? Because you have the side of the struggle, but then you have the side of education too. How do you use that to affect in a positive way towards your life?
Yes.
Because when we sound like the idea of getting beat and everything else, we don't want to come across just the idea of being rough or everything, because jiu-jitsu teaches you to be technical and teaches you to find a solution for every problem. Right? Jiu-jitsu presents a problem for every situation. The different guards, close guard, can be punched, whatever it is. Jiu-jitsu teaches you to stay calm under those pressures and circumstances and use the best in efficient ways to get away and get in control again. Right?
Totally. I always tell people that jiu-jitsu is the art of being comfortable in uncomfortable positions.
Yes.
So that when you face that in life, when I'm walking at a store and somebody brushes me and it catches me off guard and it frustrates me, I'm able to just hold it and keep on walking and not even let it affect me. Because that was nothing. That's what I tell people about the problems in my life. When people ask me, like, oh my God, Rick, how are you dealing with this? And how are you dealing with that? And how are you dealing with this? I'm like, I'm not even worried about it, man. Just Just brush it off, man. It's not that big of a deal because I've gone through jiu-jitsu, which I think physical dominance is something that until you feel it, you can't explain it. You cannot explain it.
It's like people who are don't understand as much when they see like I hear that many times, especially when I moved to here when I went to some bars to watch a UFC fight. How the crowd would just say, why that guy doesn't get out from that position? You know what I mean? He don't understand, like the guy who knows jiu-jitsu knows how to use his body, and the person who's on the bottom, they don't have ways or space to move their lane, to move away, you know what I mean? All the explosive part of their body are shut down.
And it's not like they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They are a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So at Eddie Camden, this is one thing I want to bring back. I got a couple of my training students we're going to work on. But at Eddie Camden's gym, because it was self-defense based, there were classes where we put on 8-ounce gloves, and it was no-gi jiu-jitsu. One person fought, the other person did jiu-jitsu. And what you find out really quickly is that when you're getting mounted and somebody's punching you, you don't know mount escapes either. Like, they just go out of your brain. Like, you just can't even focus on it. So... it's just that I tell people it is different.
I think the idea is just stay safe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
What I was gonna say is I tell people all the time, like, when you're panicking, like, and you're at your worst moment, that's when you find out what jiu-jitsu really is. So that's why it's important to drill it, like, every opportunity that you get to create that muscle memory. So, like, when I'm teaching people, for example, the technical stand-up, this is one I harp on all the time. Every time you stand up in your life from this point moving forward, you do a technical stand-up. There is no other option. When you're at the beach, when you're at your house, when you're playing with your dog on the floor, you technical stand-up. That way, when you get punched in a bar, you technical stand-up because you know no other way to stand up. And so I always tell people, like, there's other ways to drill jiu-jitsu and practice muscle memory besides on the mat.
Yeah, 100%.
You just have to be willing to sacrifice that and put that into, your lifestyle.
100%. I agree. That's awesome. So then, when you moved to Orlando, you started training with Bruno. And just before we move on, how was the training with Bruno?
Man, Bruno, I love Bruno. Bruno,
but because people don't know, just tell them how much Bruno weighs, though.
Yeah, so Bruno Malfini is 125. He's probably 5'3", I would say, 5'4", something like that. Sorry, Bruno, if you're a little taller than that. He's very skinny. His leg is skinnier than my arm. When I grab his leg, I'm like, what? So what's funny is, obviously the first 3-6 months, you stay super humble. I mean, they humble you really quickly, don't you worry. So then eventually it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop being scared. I'm going to go after this guy. Like, he's one, I feel like I'm 60, 70 pounds heavier than him. Like, I can at least, like, slow him down or stop him from doing stuff. Like, I'm really, because normally I'm cautious because you're scared, because he's a black belt. This time I'm like, no, I'm not going scared. I'm going after him. Man. Bro. First of all, he's
so
like,
fast, right?
It's lightning quick. So the couple things I noticed about Bruno, his athleticism is very high. So he can do a cartwheel, he can jump over your head, he can do all that lightning quick and very accurate. He does not miss.
And he understands that.
And he knows it. That's right. So he does a lot of things that a lot of people that I roll with can't even do. So when he can make his body very explosive and have no weight on his body. Yeah, exactly.
Him from being explosive.
Yep. The second thing I noticed about Bruno is that he does not allow anyone to get anything. He plays his game. So when he's sitting in seated guard, he does not let you get a grip. If you get a grip, he breaks it and immediately arm drags you. Or he kicks off your foot. He never, like, people are in a very bad habit, and this is something that I've developed too that I want to break, of lazy jiu-jitsu, where we let people come into our guard, we put De La Hiva, we get our grips, they get their grips, and then we start. So then when you're really in a tournament mode and you can't get your grips, you have nothing. Because they pass you so quick, you didn't even get an opportunity because we don't practice that way. But that's how Bruno practices every time. He doesn't let you get any grips. Sometimes I reach to try to grab his pants, he arm drags and he's on my back. And I'm like, what?
It makes perfect sense, especially if you go to somebody else who may be heavier than him or stronger. If you let them get any inch or advanced position, especially be on top, they're going to be able to hold him down.
And so that's what he said. Like, he would tell us all the time, like, the actual advantage that he has is being smaller than everyone because he has to fight that way. He has no choice.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So he tried to never let the person, whoever's on top of him, be comfortable with their base or not.
That's exactly right.
They probably always have to be posting or defending.
He always keeps you off balance. Always keeping you off balance. Yep. And so I trained with him for 2 or 3 years. Eventually moved over to Clearwater for another job. And
Where's Clearwater?
Clearwater is right next to Tampa in Orlando. It's on the Gulf Coast. With a guy named Rodrigo Greno. He is a Marcio Cruz affiliate, Petipano. I trained with him for about 2 years while I was transitioning back to Atlanta. He's a great instructor too. That was the gym where it was a smaller gym, and it was the gym where I finally felt the brotherhood. Like the owner, everybody at the gym, they were all like a tight-knit community. We all watched UFCs together. We all went bowling together. You know, he stayed after class and talked to everyone and helped people personally. He helped me personally all the time. When I had problems, I'd go to his house and we'd talk. And so that was the one time where I really felt that instructor-student connection where I was like, this guy really cares for me, and he's like really putting in a lot of effort. I remember one of his favorite sayings that he told me that I tell people all the time is when I was having troubles in life, he said, man, you fix jiu-jitsu, you fix your life. And he was right. Every time I got back to training and I focused on jiu-jitsu, my life got better. So that's what I tell people. Like, I notice my life gets worse when I don't do jiu-jitsu because it's what made me who I am now. So then I get more frustrated and, you know, all of those types of things. So fix jiu-jitsu, fix life.
And then after that Clearwater, you moved back to Atlanta?
Yep, moved back to Atlanta. Got a great job offer with a company called Force doing automotive marketing. Came back, and of course I had to stick with Alliance. Once you feel the type of training where you're training 10-minute rounds for an hour, you can't go back. Like, you need that level of intensity of that level of training. So I went to Alliance headquarters. That's where I met Jacare and Leo, two of my biggest heroes. Been with them for 5 years. Helped them with marketing. That's where I got my first gym. Started working on that marketing. Worked with Leo. I was the Uki for about 2 or 3 years from blue to purple belt. That changed my life. I would say if there's one thing that made my jiu-jitsu jump up significantly, it was being the Uki and training with the instructor and letting him show the moves because I can watch him and I could feel his pressure. So then when I rolled with other people, I'd say, no, you're missing it because Leo does it here, you know. And so, and being able to focus on the details because I had to know my part for him to do his part right. You know, so that helped me. We were in the intermediate class, which is in between beginners and advanced, and it really helped me like get my basics down. It made my game significantly better. I'm very grateful for that time for sure.
Nice.
And I'm still there.
Yeah. So before we move on to what we have you here for, talk a little bit about then do you feel like you learn a certain aspect of the game from Bruno being smaller?
Oh, for sure.
And then you learn another aspect of the game from Leo being totally heavier and use different kind of game.
Yeah.
So how both kind of influence you in aspect of it?
So even with Eddie Camden, so Eddie was he's very defensive, and his number one thing was to not get submitted. So my first 2 years, and I tell this to everybody, like when you're a white belt, don't worry about the berimbolo. Don't worry about the berimbolo. What you need to worry about is mount defense, recovering your guard, back defense, defending submissions, getting out of positions, you know, preventing sweeps, your base, your balance, posture, things like that. And so that's what I learned from him because I spent 2 years just on the bottom escaping and defending. So then when I went to Bruno's gym, then he was teaching us real quick, precise movements to where you didn't need pressure passing. So it was a lot of X passing or bullfighter passing or things like that. Quick step passing. And then how to be dynamic, how to float on their back, how to stay on your toes so you're not putting your weight down so you can ride the person. So I learned a lot of that. And what's funny is when I go back to his seminars, like we talk, and he reminds me of stuff that he told me before. He's like, no, remember I told you stay on your toes, but my mindset has changed because I've been training with Leo. So now we do a lot of pressure passing. And so it's been... I'm trying to figure out that balance right now. That's where I am right now. I'm really heavy into pressure passing because I like Leo's style and I like shutting people down, and I'm a wrestler, so that works well for me. But I'm also seeing where I could be more dynamic as a jiu-jitsu person, be a little bit lighter on my feet, and so that balance is what I'm trying to figure out right now. But for sure, there are styles based on the size of the person and the types of passes. Because I saw that in the beginning when I was with Leo. He would do something, and he'd be like, why are you doing it that way? Because Bruno used to do it this way. And he's like, well, that works for him. I'm stronger. I'm bigger. I can help. And I'm like, So, you know, I think it's really important for everybody to ask the why. Go ahead.
I feel like what you can take off maybe is the approach Bruno has from the bottom and the approach Leo's have from the top.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
I think it's a good combination. Guard, you have to be quick. You have to move. You cannot let the person get settled.
That's right.
Like if you let somebody else like Leo get settled on you, you're not moving anymore.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's fun. It's a good combination there, I guess.
With Leo, what's funny, I tell this with people all the time. With Leo, if you guys don't know, Leo's like 230, 6'3", probably the strongest, strongest, meanest jiu-jitsu person you've ever fought. He will not let you win at all, and I love that about him. I tell people all the time, like, you need a person like Leo because nobody else can do that. Yes. So if you're going to feel what it's like, I want it to be Leo Nogueira.
Yes.
But, like, it's funny, like, when I'm rolling with Leo, sometimes I have to make a decision in my mind if what I'm trying to do is worth what's going to happen if I do it. So, like, should I sweep him? I mean, I feel like I could, but if I do, he's gonna whoop my tail. So one time, this is a funny story. We were doing situational training, right? And the person starts in mount. Well, I'm on the bottom, and Leo's coming in on top. And I'm like, oh.
Great.
So I had a perfect setup to where I was going to do the bump and roll and then hip escape on the other side, right? The little setup. Well, I did that, and then I was able to bump and roll him, and he started to go over. So everybody in the line was like, yes, go Rick, finally, beat him. And midway, I'm like, no, don't do that, don't cheer. Because I knew if they cheered, Leo was going to turn up. And of course, I trap and roll him. And as I roll him over, he extends my arm and pops my arm. I'm like, no. I knew it too because everybody in the line got way too excited. I'm like, no. I knew it was going to happen, man. So, man, Leo.
Is that competition mindset?
Yeah, no, I know. And that's the good thing about Leo too is like he doesn't give you anything. Like you got to earn it, and he makes you fight. Yeah, and he's big, and that's what I like about it. He just nobody else can fight like him.
100%.
Same with Bruno, you know.
Definitely. I agree. So that's when you start then the job with the gyms that you're doing out there.
Yeah, so I was running marketing for a lot of industries outside of fitness, and to be honest with you, I didn't like my customers. They weren't my kind of people. You know, I love jiu-jitsu people. I love fitness people because they're good, honest people, and they want to help each other. So that's why I say, like, if you can do business with a jiu-jitsu person, you should. But, so I offered them. They're like, hey, we need marketing. I was like, well, let's try some things. It worked really well for them over the past 5 or 6 years, and then slowly just started adding gyms here and there. You know, they refer me, or somebody brought up, hey, I heard you do alliance marketing, let's try, and then it slowly grew, and all my business so far has been referral, and now I got about 30 something gyms, 30 or 40.
Okay, so like when you're marketing a gym, what like you're looking for, what the tools you kind of using, like for example, like how do you attract the new people to the gym? Like, I think that's the most important, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you link that, I guess, the gym, I guess the sense, right? The gym soul, you go there, you understand, okay, that's what the product the person have. Now bringing the product to meet the person who is looking for that, or maybe not, I'm not sure.
Yep. So the first thing you have to do is understand the business that you're working for and what is the best way for them to get customers. So there's a bunch of different products out there. Everybody knows Google, everybody knows Facebook, but you have to understand like what those platforms were designed for. So, for example, Google is for anyone who's already searching for your business. They know about jiu-jitsu already because they have to type it in, right? So they already have product awareness. Facebook and social media is to bring that attention to people who may not know about it before, right? Because you can push that onto their newsfeed. So they're not searching for you, you're forcing it to them. It's called demand creation, right? So you're creating demand by putting that image out there. So I always recommend in the very beginning is make sure that you have the nets to capture those leads. So the first thing I did with you guys is I said, what kind of nets do we have? Do you have a system? Do you have a process? What's that look like? And you guys were like, kinda. Like we get some emails and we print it out, right?
We did not really have it.
Right, you didn't really have a system. So the first thing I do is do a discovery and figure out if I send this guy, Hoffa, 100 fish, is he going to catch them or are they going to swim through the net? And I realized that they were going to swim through the net. So I was like, why spend advertising dollars if we don't have that part worked out? So we got that part worked out. We built a CRM. We got the text messages, the appointment calendar, all of that. Now, once you guys felt comfortable with that tool, now I was comfortable with sending you guys more traffic. So that's why Facebook and Instagram right now and TikTok is the number one place for you to get traffic. Here's the reason why. Cost per acquisition. The reason why TikTok is the cheapest right now is because it's a new platform. Not a lot of people are advertising on it, so it's cheaper, right? And it's hot right now. So if you're in marketing, you should be doing TikTok because you get free exposure, the cheapest exposure that you could possibly get, right? And the same thing used to be true about Facebook, and the same thing used to be true about Google. The cost per click on Google used to be 50 cents. Now it's $5, right? Because the competition went up. Same things happen to Facebook. Facebook used to be 10 cents, $1. Now it's $5, $8, $10, something like that. So for you guys, we did lead generation in Facebook and Instagram. Basically did a 5 or 7 mile radius. Where do we think people are most likely to drive from? 5 to 7 miles, something like that. We made them an irresistible offer. Basically 3 trial classes with an instructor, private lesson. See if you like jiu-jitsu, and then we sign you up as a part of our course. So my job is just to get people in the door. I get them to submit their information, I get them to book an appointment, and then I get to show up, and then after that, it's on you guys to do your sales magic and, build value with the customer.
Rick, is there a difference of the old ways of doing marketing and nowadays with social platform? Because internet really become big. When do you think the strength of market?
2008.
2008?
Yeah.
That's when you feel like you start to strength up online?
That's when it started to ramp up for sure. And the biggest difference, there's two. So the first one is targeting. With Facebook and social media, you can target a specific audience that's looking for your offer, not blast it like direct mail, like email, like TV, right? So I'll ask you one question right now, and I say this to everyone. Hafa, if you had a commercial right now on TV, how many people watched it?
I don't know. I don't think
you have no way of tracking it.
I'm not watching TV anymore.
You have no way of tracking it, right? No. So the way that they track TV traffic is they have Google Analytics on their website. And they say, okay, we're going to launch this commercial at 1 p.m. Let's see what our traffic looks like from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And if it spiked on our website traffic, we know the video worked. Well, that's not exactly a direct one-to-one model. That's kind of just hypothetically guessing and putting things together, right? With social,
it's almost like throwing a net in the ocean and hoping the fish going to stop by.
That's exactly right. So with social media, I can tell you exactly how many clicks. Not only can I tell you that, but I'm going to give you a lead with a name, a phone number, and an email, and the class they're interested in. Right? So if a marketing person, and this I'm speaking to everybody, if a marketing person ever comes to you and says, hey, with your $1,000 or with your $500, we got you 2 million eyeballs or 2 million views or 2 million clicks, you need to go somewhere else, man, because I don't give a crap about clicks. I don't care how many views. I say how many leads, how many customers did you bring through my door? I can give you 1 billion views, but if I don't give you one customer, what good does it do, right? Now, obviously, there's branding like Walmart and things like that. That's a different scenario. But if you're a small business trying to grow your business, trying to grow your customer base, like you need leads and closes and sales. You don't need clicks and click-through rate and all of that. Now, that leads to that, but at the end of the day, your marketing provider should be talking about leads and customers. And what did we always talk about with you? How much money did you make, right? If it wasn't about the money, I don't care about it.
Yeah, 100%. That's interesting, though. And then, of course, one, like you're saying, one will lead the other, because once you learn how to use the social media and generate traffic and to have the ad as well, one eventually going to link to the other, right?
Yeah, so, man, thank God for coronavirus for this aspect on forcing people to do social media the right way.
Like I'm doing.
Right. I tell gyms all the time, post every day. Do interviews, get creative, do live Zoom classes. And they're like, oh, Rick, we don't have time. Rick, we don't have time. Rick, we don't have time. We'll get to it. Great idea. Man, you're a genius. Great idea. They never do it, right? Now, all of a sudden, Corona comes out and everybody's posting all day, every day. And they have Zoom classes and they have this dynamic online persona. And I'm just like, I tried to tell you, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they feed into each other. So what people have to know about these platforms is Google has organic, which means people find you naturally for free. And they have paid, which means you pay to put yourself in front of them, right? Well, those two things work hand in hand, because if you think about it, like, who is Google's customer? Google's customer is the person who's searching, right? So they want to make sure if they display your website and the person clicks on your website, that they have a great experience and they get what they're looking for because you're taking care of their customer.
100%.
So if you take care of their customer by following all the Google guidelines, having a clean website, having exactly what you say is about jiu-jitsu, you have stuff about jiu-jitsu on your website. If you do that, Google ranks you higher. That's your Google rank, right? So if you take care of Google's free organic traffic, when you pay for traffic, they give you a boost because they're saying, this guy's killing it. He knows what to do. He's following our guidelines. We'll give him a cheaper price or we'll give him more exposure. And the same thing happens on Facebook. If you're not using Facebook natively, the organic traffic, posting every day, getting people to interact with you and like and comment, then they're not going to spend that much effort on your paid because they realize you're not using the platform the way it was designed to be used. So that's what people need to think about. They need to have a plan for organic and paid and how those two kind of sync together.
Cool. That's interesting. So like for the gyms, you have that set up. You know, a lot of athletes come in with those online platforms. Do you feel like they can use that service too for them, especially the upcoming ones, I guess, or to start to promote themselves?
You talking about athletes?
Yeah, like the online, they sell online videos, you know, online positions.
Oh, yeah, like a DVD series and instructionals and stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah.
For sure. So it's really not different for anybody. It doesn't matter what business you're doing. You need to be posting content every day. I tell this right now, if I was 10 years old, I'd be building my own personal brand. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, constantly. I don't know what I'm going to sell yet, but I'm going to be posting video and content every day so you see me. If you see a guy named Gary Vee, he's really heavy in the marketing industry. He is everywhere. You cannot avoid him. Once you click on a Gary Vee video, you will see him for the rest of your life. So it's really important for everybody to build content and be constantly posting content that's relevant to their audience or relevant to what they're trying to do. So this is the number one mistake people make off it, including myself. They wait until they have the perfect product or the perfect thing to sell before they start advertising, right? But let me ask you this. If you start a brand new Facebook page or a brand new Instagram right now and you have the perfect product, who do you sell it to? You don't have an audience. Yeah. So right now, if you don't have any money, you don't have a job, you don't have anything to sell, what you do have is free Facebook profile, free Instagram profile, free Snapchat. You can go make content right now, building it saying, you know, I'm really interested in fishing, right? Maybe I want to sell fishing lures down the line. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to do it. I'm constantly making fishing videos. Hey, fishing tips, fishing tricks, fishing, just nonstop. I'm the fish guy. So then when I launch that product, it makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Right? So
it's interesting you saying that because like even from the time, for example, that I did not knew I was going to come to US or anything like that, I have a little profile as a growing up from pictures from the news or magazine that would mention the name, you know, anything related that would create like a word out, you know, in social medias. The social media sort of in the news, like especially back in the day we don't have internet. I save all those paper, print it, and then when I have to come to the US, I have to use that, right?
Absolutely.
So that you prove that I was doing jiu-jitsu. So that was a way of saving information that I can use to promote myself later on in jiu-jitsu when I become a black belt, right? So if you're blue belt, save your stuff. If you're purple, say every information or every gold medal, how to say, save your, how do you would say here? Like you save a profile of that, like, you know, like a archive, like a file, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So that way you can use to promote yourself, especially if you are in jiu-jitsu industry, or you pretend to be. Yeah.
George asking a question. He says, you might have asked this. What advice do you have for a young athlete trying to promote themselves? So George, there's a couple things you need to do. First of all, the very first thing you need to do is you need to make a plan. This is the number one thing that people don't do is they don't plan strategically. What are you going to post in the next 30 days? Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to accomplish? And have a plan for each day strategically. So, for example, and I'll keep it simple for you. So maybe on Monday, you're posting motivational things about jiu-jitsu. On Tuesday, you're posting about techniques. On Wednesday, you're posting about workouts. On Thursday, right? So you can come up with a structure that makes it easy for you to where you don't have to think about stuff every day. But something that young athletes in jiu-jitsu should be doing is, I know George has a lot of highlight tapes, especially on the loop choke and things like that. He needs to be contacting all the top channels on Instagram, BJJ memes, the Choke Lab, all of those types of people, sending that video and say, hey, want you guys to check out this video. I think you'll enjoy it, and let them rebroadcast to their audience and tag him. That is that is huge, because those people will spread you around, and all of a sudden, like, I see videos all the time of a guy doing something sick, and I'm like, who is that guy? And then I go look him up, and then you end up following him, right? So it's really about posting content. And the number, let me tell you why people aren't good at this.
Go ahead.
Because they care what other people think.
Yeah.
If I post too much, people are going to say, because people used to text me and be like, Rick, I see your stuff all the time. You're posting all the time. And they say it as a negative. But I say, thank you. Thanks for watching. Glad you're checking it out. Glad you get to see it.
Yeah.
Right? You can't worry about what other people think. You need to post 2 to 3 times per day. Here's why. Your mom looks at Instagram from 9 to 12. Your coworkers look at Instagram from 12 to 2. Your family or your friends look at Instagram from 7 to 12. Where if you're not posting in all of those windows, they don't see your posts. Because Instagram caps who you show it to. It doesn't show it to everyone, right? So you need to have a content. So what I would do is something like this. Let's say I was going to do something on marketing. In the morning, I post a motivational thing about organic posting on Facebook, right? A long post like, hey guys, you really need to do this, blah, 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 blah. In the afternoon, I would have a picture that's related to that with a quick quote from that thing that I just wrote earlier today. At night, I would make a video describing or showing that exact thing. So you're taking one concept, Facebook organic posting, and making 3 different posts about it that are just in different formats. It's the same thing, just in 3 different formats. So you don't have to create new content all the time, right? So he could do a loop choke instructional or tip, make one short clip video, make a post about it, and then make one long clip going through the details. And there you have 3 different pieces of content with the same thing that you made. So so my advice to making that is always start with the long video first. Make your long descriptive video and then chop that up into little pieces and put it out to your audience. 100%. George, I have no idea what you posted last May. So if you reposted it right now, I wouldn't even know. If you posted something in January about the loop choke, I would have no idea if you posted in May. People have a 2-week mindset. As soon as 2 weeks is over, you can repost it. So you could build out 90 days and just repeat that 90 days over and over again, and it'll be just as effective.
Especially with so many information coming all the time, maybe they will forget 2 weeks of what they already saw.
Not even 2 weeks, 2 days.
2 days. Yes.
Hey, do y'all remember when we were supposed to be in World War III because we attacked that general? What happened? Yeah. Everybody forgot. I guess we're not in World War III anymore, right?
Yeah.
George, another thing you can do too is this is super important. Super, super important. You have to give, ask. So what does that mean? Before I ask somebody to spread or share my stuff, I have to be giving too. So are you going on other people's Instagram and liking their comments, making comments on their posts saying, man, that's a sick choke, great job? Are you doing that? Right? You should be doing that a lot and then posting, because then when people see your stuff, they're like, man, I love George. George always comments on my stuff. Boom, boom, boom. The people I like the most on social media are the people who engage with my stuff. You engage with my stuff, I'll like your stuff every time. I don't even care what it says. I hit like. Hoffa's my boy. I don't even read it sometimes. I'm just like, share, Hoffa, share. I don't even care what he says, right?
You know somebody who, you were just saying that, you know somebody who's really do that all the time? Gordon Ryan.
Oh.
He will reply to everyone. So that means what? He's training or he's on his phone replying to his public.
Or he dedicates his time to it.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Right? 100%. So think about how many times, not just his posting, right? Gordon Ryan posts all the time. Imagine how many times Gordon Ryan's name pops up on people's feeds in the comment section. He tags them. He likes their stuff. Gordon Ryan. So when you ask jiu-jitsu, like Gordon Ryan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what everybody needs to do. Just like, hey, I need to go buy some new flip at Walmart. Right? Because they branded it in your head.
Yeah. 100%.
Let's see what he says. I like a lot of people's content and videos. Great job. And sometimes I share stuff on my story. I see his stuff all the time. You need to do a lot on the story and then posting, content on a daily basis. So you just have to keep building it and building and building it. But I highly recommend for you to reach out to the influencers on those big Instagram channels. So basically just go search hashtag BJJ or BJJ lifestyle. You have to do some research. find the accounts that have the highest amount of followers, 150,000 followers, and send them a message with one of your sickest videos and say, hey, would you put this out there for me?
Nice. That's a great idea, though.
And message 50 of them. It doesn't matter. Message 100 of them.
Especially those fans movements, people love watching those highlights of fans movements, you know what I mean? Those are the best. Probably a highlight with somebody else doing a very detailed, like smashing pass will not go viral as somebody else flipping over loop choke, and you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
What
you could do is you take your super sick video, your highlight of your loop choke, and you put it in, you save it as a highlight on your Instagram as like highlights or whatever. And then you make a post on your page with the detailed breakdown. So then when you send it to BJJ Lifestyle, for example, you say, hey, will you post this highlight and let people know there's a breakdown on my page? So now they see the highlight and now they can get the breakdown on your page.
Sure.
Nice enough to post. Yeah, especially in jiu-jitsu, dude, George. So if you think about it, when you send them your video, you're giving them sick content. So they can't wait to, they're going to want to post that. Now, if you want to sell something, like if you're trying to sell your course, then you'd want to pay them, say, hey, I'll give you $500 if you'll mention this to your crowd because you know you're going to get sales back. But if you're not trying to sell anything, especially with these BJJ channels, they're definitely can't wait to share it.
100%. All right, that's good. George, you have a lot of lesson here. You got to start paying Rick for that now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on a little bit. So when you were, what the most difficult things you find when you're trying to work with somebody? Like when you try to do business with them, with your clients?
The first, I would say the first hardest part working is, what's the hardest part? I would say the hardest part is helping them. Right now, it's helping them understand the technology. That's the hardest part, and understanding its value. And the reason why is because every single person I've talked to has already tried it before with somebody else who did them dirty or did them wrong, or it didn't work out or they didn't get the results. So I hear people all the time that say, Rick, Facebook ads don't work. And I'm like, nah, you're just not doing them right. So I have to come over that barrier. And so basically what I do is I break down their ads and say, and I did the same thing. That's actually how I got you guys, right? Yeah. I sent you an ad and I said, hey, you're doing really good, but you could be better if you did X, Y, Z. And here's what I noticed. And then when you guys noticed that, you're like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Why did we do that? Mm-hmm. Right? So what happened was you guys were doing a seminar. You made a post about a seminar, but the seminar went to your website with nothing about the seminar.
Yeah.
So if somebody clicked on the ad, they were just like lost in outer space, right? So I said, hey, your seminar ad should go to a seminar page where people can opt in. And then you collect leads. And so that made direct sense for you guys. We did a presentation. Then you're like, yeah, he clearly knows what he's talking about. And you go from there. So I think overcoming negative experiences is probably the hardest part right now.
Okay, cool. But now a lot of people are using, right, social media. I guess now learning how to use.
Yeah, I would say the second hardest part is getting the customer to do their part. So I can only make so much stuff happen. I need you in your gym filming videos, filming testimonials, taking cool pictures, and sending it to me so I can build it out. But if you're not doing that on your end, if you're not doing the organic part, then this can only go so far. So that's one thing that working with you guys has been really easy.
Yeah, you have limited tools, right?
They have limited tools, right. I can only use so many images and so many videos because this is all I have access to, right? So if you're a person like yourself who's constantly taking videos and pictures, we have unlimited supply of marketing assets.
100%. That's cool. That's interesting. I was talking to Connor the other day, I was asking him what he see the future of jiu-jitsu, and guys like, Keenan, who is really big on the promotion online and getting traffic through his website with the things he does, and then how would be like, I was even thinking, is people gonna maybe keep those Zoom class and maybe have the gym only 2 times a day, like, gym gonna be open for maybe just private and have those people doing Zoom at home, how the marketing, how's things gonna change?
Do you think, are we talking about after COVID is over?
Yes.
This is my personal opinion. This stuff should have been going on before COVID even came out. So I think it's going to continue, right? I think you need to have your normal 6 days a week classes or 5 days a week or whatever your schedule is, but you also need to have Zoom classes. So right now your Zoom classes is you, the instructor, and then the people on the other end, right? Well, you don't have to do that. What if just Tuesday and Thursday you filmed your class, right? That's still a Zoom class. That still counts.
Yeah.
So the only difference from what you were doing before is you're just filming it.
Yeah,
that's really the only difference. So I think we're going to have a hybrid. It's called a hybrid. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Another thing too, maybe if you through Zoom class, maybe a private class through Zoom, maybe instead of charge you 200, maybe that's going to be a little less.
That's right.
Doing from home, whatever, fix. There's a lot of things I guess you can add to that.
I think jiu-jitsu needs to get a little bit more creative with the solo drills and the things that are possible because it's really hard to train jiu-jitsu by yourself. I mean, I have a girlfriend right now and Matt's, and it's still hard. You just can't match the intensity and stuff like that. But for fitness, 100%, like there's going to be a lot more private training and things like that. And I think right now, jiu-jitsu instructors, there's a great opportunity for you guys to reach out to the upper echelon people who like to stay home and work and the housewives and go teach them self-defense at their private house for a higher fee.
Yeah, that's interesting, true. Yeah, and how do you advise people to promote those kind of stuff, to link out together?
Man, through Facebook and social media, right? But you again, like you need to have a full system. So the platform that I offer is called Gym Grow. It has the landing pages that you need to sell. It has the text and email sequences that you need to nurture the people. Say, hey, don't forget, come back, book your appointment, all of that jazz. It also has the membership site built in. So once you sell them, they go to the membership site and they can see all your portals and everything. And so you just need like the full solution to capture your leads and maximize your traffic. I think so. The original name of my business was called Choke Point Marketing. And people thought that Choke Point was directly referencing jiu-jitsu. And part of it was. But really, the point I was trying to get across is the choke point is the most important part of a battle in war because it's where the two armies meet, and also in your marketing because it's where your business meets your traffic. So my question is when your business meets your traffic, are you maximizing that opportunity right there? Are you giving them the best experience? When I log on to Alliance Champions and I opt in for a lead, am I getting a notification back that says, congratulations, we can't wait to see you in your class, your appointment is booked? And then when I walk in, am I getting greeted at the front door and know exactly what to do and getting walked through the process? What is that like? That's the choke point of people's business, and that's where people mess up the most. Because they just get a lead and they put it on their desk or it's in my email, I'll get back to it later. Well, that's not a world-class experience for your customer.
Yeah, you cannot sell online while you're not practicing at the physical place,
right. And we are getting to a point in life right now where people want Chick-fil-A and Starbucks experience.
Yes.
Even if Starbucks coffee sucks, it's not that good. And
I drink a lot of those.
I know, but quality of coffee, you can get better at Kroger if you just buy the higher brand. Right?
The better coffee I have is at home when my wife
that's right.
Yeah.
But the experience is so good, especially at Chick-fil-A. I've had Chick-fil-A not put meat on my sandwich before. I drove all the way home and was like, hey, it's Chick-fil-A. I didn't call them. I didn't go back. I was like, I'll just make something else. Because they give you such a world-class experience, right? And that's the same thing you should have in your gym. If your people are considering canceling their membership right now, it's probably because you didn't give them a world-class experience when they were there.
It's true. I agree. It is fun to talk about that because I feel like the students of Virginia has been so supportive. You know what I mean? Like everybody's being connected.
Why? That's because of you and Billy.
We're doing some lives with them on Instagram now, and that is very nice. I don't know why I did not thought about that. You probably have mentioned that before to me. I guess we learned the lesson the hard way, right? But it's been interesting. It's very nice.
So George had another question. He said, what's your opinion on chasing sponsorships, or should I let them come to me? George, there's a famous saying that is, good things come to those who wait. Do you know who said that? The early bird, because he was out there getting it, and he wants you to wait. Right? If you wait, I'm attacking. So you should always attack, man. If you want something, you go get it. Don't wait for it. You send them a message, send them an email, send them a DM on their Instagram. Say, hey, George Stevens, here's the things I've accomplished. I'm looking for a sponsorship. Here's how it can benefit you. I have a lot of people checking me. Go ahead.
Highlights, sure, right?
Yeah, send them some highlights. But the most important part is you have to make it mutually beneficial. So I want to hear more about your sponsorships. I'm willing to post every day, take pictures, wear your gear, do XYZ. This is the type of exposure I have, and this is how it can help your brand if you're willing to have that conversation with me. But if you just jump in there and say, hey, I'm awesome at jiu-jitsu and I'm like the #1 blue belt in South Carolina, you should sponsor me, they're going to ignore your message. So make it mutually beneficial, and I promise you'll get a response.
That's pretty cool. Another thing too, like for example, one of those.
Yes, George. Yes.
One of those loop choke like went viral, for example, like has so many views. If you try to connect the sponsor, use those numbers to show them, the revenue they can advertise.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep.
Yep.
And you're a young kid. You're at that level where people will watch and they're impressed, right? A 40-year-old guy like myself, 37, if I do something fancy like, oh, that's a cool move, like you do it, and they're like, look at that kid. That kid's amazing. So you got to ride that hype train.
100%. Yes. Talking about that, Rick, I'm not sure if you're going to go out of the subject, but what do you think sometimes when you go to that sponsor and then the guy is not long a sponsor, he almost hires you to sell his product instead? You're pretty much selling, I understand it in one hand, but they want actually, to make it like almost like you sell. You have to sell so much. I don't know. Kind of just use the image, Because usually used to be, right? The image, what you use
so
for the company.
It depends on what stage you're in and what other opportunities you have available. So I tell sometimes you got to take what you can get. And if Breakpoint comes out and says, hey, look, we don't really do that kind of thing, the reason why they're saying that is because they don't believe that you're valuable. Mm-hmm. So what you say is, okay, I'll take my 10% affiliate fee and I'll make the best of it. And then for the next, and you're going to keep contacting other people. Don't get me wrong. You keep contacting other people, but you advertise them, sell them a couple things, get a couple people to use your code, and then you have some leverage, right? Yeah. So it just depends on what stage you're in, right? George, at the stage he's in, you pretty much should take whatever you can get to try to build that up and learn from experience, right? You might spend 3 months learning from this company like, ooh, that was the wrong way. That was a bad idea. Or, you're kind of just practicing. And then if it goes away, it doesn't matter. It was at blue belt when you were 18 years old, so who cares, right? Now you're 19 at purple belt with another company. So any experience is good experience, in my opinion.
Cool. Nice. That's cool. Let's go back a little bit to the marketing part. So, what are the things you feel like the gym should link to have a good marketing?
So
what they have to, how the approach of the business for them to have good...
So 100%, you got to have good content, but don't overthink it. Every single thing, and I showed this to Hafa, everything I've ever done and recorded has been on an iPhone. I would personally go out and get the best iPhone out available right now, or Galaxy or whatever. I'm not getting into that battle. But the best quality camera for video and picture that you can get is enough. You don't need the $400 Canon. You don't need that. I use it for my phone. I use apps on my phone, and I edit it. All the images that we've made for this Canva presentation, right, for your conversations, we made those on our phone from an app, right? You don't have to be a designer. I'm not a designer, and I make all my own stuff. So you can make content. After that, the most important part is having a place for people to convert. And what does convert mean? Convert means submit themselves as a lead. So if you send a person to your website, is it clear and obvious exactly what you want that person to do? Or is it, look at my gallery, look at my videos, look at my reviews, look at About Us, those are all distractions. I don't want anyone to look at that. I want you to submit your information and become a lead for my business. So that's something that people need to focus on too. Does my website drive the customer down a funnel to where they submit their information to me? And if it doesn't, if you log on and you don't know immediately what to do to take advantage of that service, then you need to rebuild your website and think about that. And then after that, it's about nurturing, right? Are you sending text and email communications to remind the customer to book their appointment, or don't forget about this offer that's about to expiring? So if you have good content, you have a place for them to convert, and then you follow up with them with text and emails, then you're going to be successful as long as you have some kind of sales experience.
Nice. So, Rick, we're getting close to our live to end. The Instagram give us an hour.
Awesome.
We still have 6 minutes. But we can go a few more topics on the things you do, and then how people can find you, and we can talk some more about just before we finish too.
Absolutely. So the name of my company is Gym Grow. Again, you could just message me directly on Facebook, Instagram. Everything is ATL Rick James. So no matter what platform you look at, you will find me there. And I'm a really, Hafa, you know this about me. I just like to help people. If you need help, George, if one of you guys need help, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm going to give you some advice, and I'll tell you what I do. And if you're interested, then we can talk about it. But if not, you can take my advice and run. But I love to just so the reason why I fell in love with jiu-jitsu is my entire life I felt like I was a humanitarian. I was put on this planet to help people. I just didn't know how. I didn't know, like, what am I going to do? Go be a missionary or make sandwiches for homeless? Like, I couldn't figure it out. And then I found jiu-jitsu and marketing. I'm like, oh, this is what I can do. If I can help people learn jiu-jitsu, which will help them in their life, then I can get the value back that I want. And the same thing with marketing. So now I'm marketing people to come to jiu-jitsu gyms. Then I teach them jiu-jitsu, and it's just this cyclical event that just, really fulfills my soul as far as helping people. So,
and then one thing I want to mention that or add to that, like marketing, for example, because there is a marketing sometimes we have to do. But maybe the guy who is marketing that, he's just an employee who works for that business, but maybe he doesn't even trust on that marketing, you know what I mean? And the beauty of, I believe, especially work in the fitness industry or jiu-jitsu is because what we sell is coming very fruitful, right?
Yep.
So you have the experience of working on other areas of selling and promoting online. And then it was very nice for you when you met, you could do that through jiu-jitsu, something that you love already doing.
That's right.
So what you're trying to sell now is so, would say organic is the right word?
Yeah.
It's so, you know what I mean? It's so beautiful because it's organic. It's something that you mean it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're selling, you mean it what you're selling.
It's my passion.
You're not just selling because you have to put the higher numbers.
That's exactly right. I'm not I tell people all the time, like especially when I'm doing presentations, I need money, obviously, to live, and I want to have a lifestyle, but that's not why I'm doing this. If I was, my price would be a lot higher, and I'd be exclusive. But really,
maybe we would not work in jiu-jitsu right now too.
Right.
Because there are probably other companies who would bring you more money.
Fitness and martial arts in general are the lower revenue of all the industries that I could possibly do in marketing. So if I charge you guys, for example, $1,000 a month, when I do real estate, $2,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month, right? So the comparison is completely different, but the difference is I love jiu-jitsu and I love jiu-jitsu people, and I know it's helping and fulfilling for my soul. So that's personally why I do it. I go out of my way for my customers just to help as much as possible because I care.
100%. Yeah, I feel that's the way too. Like, because jiu-jitsu, we have our business part, but it's a tool that you have to change people's lives.
That's exactly right.
You have a value there that's is so nice to work.
That's why I can't wait. I want to have my gym too.
Yeah,
because I've gone to so many different gyms, and like I just take piece from piece, and I'm saying this is the gym and this is the model I'm going to build, and this is the way I want to teach it, and this is how I want it to go. So that's in my plans. It's not going to be in the near future, but maybe after black belt sometime when I feel a little bit more comfortable and I have the freedom to do so, then I'll open up a gym. I kind of want to, between you and I, I'm looking to open actually a wellness center where I have like jiu-jitsu, yoga, maybe the acai place, things like that, where you can find meditation, jiu-jitsu, all those things that kind of like go together and give people like real options. I think that's pretty cool when you can do multiple things. Like at your gym, you have like three, and you can do the sauna, and you can, so I think that's a really cool model.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Cool. Rick, we have 1.5 to finish, so if you want to give a tip or whatever final words you have there. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate all the work you do for us as well. I hope we can get out of this and back to normal soon.
Yeah.
So all yours.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for being on. If there was going to be anything I could say about marketing or jiu-jitsu or anything like that, is just do you. Whatever is important to you, whatever you love, whatever you like, put that out there. You cannot have a scarcity mindset. There are 7.6 billion people on this planet. Somebody's going to like you. Somebody's going to want you. Somebody's going to want to pay your money. So be you and don't worry about your competition. You know how many marketing industries are out there for fitness and jiu-jitsu, and people told me that I couldn't do it because I'm just a regular guy? That's a scarcity mindset. Go out there, make it. It'll happen. I promise.
Nice. Thanks so much, Rick. Appreciate it. You have a great Sunday, and talk soon. Peace.
Appreciate you guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.